Hey everyone, Gill Gross here, post-match. Stefanos Tsitsipas versus Karen Khachanov, 2023 Australian Open semifinal. If you're not here for spoilers, click off the video in 3, 2, 1. Tsitsipas through to his first final in Melbourne. It was his fourth semifinal. He gets through it in 4 sets. Lost a couple of match points in the third set. Also served for the match in the third set. Regrouped, won the fourth. Closed it out emphatically, won that set 6-3. So the final score in favor of Tsitsipas is 7-6, 6-4, 6-7, 6-3. Khachanov loses his second straight major semifinal and loses his 23rd straight match against top 10 competition. Where I want to kind of start is the first serve battle here, because statistically that was the big gap. Khachanov did well on his second serve in a couple of respects. He did fine against Tsitsipas' second serve. He did really well on his own second serve. It's the first serve battle where Tsitsipas was much better. So the picture I'm going to kind of paint here is why that was. Tsitsipas won 84% of his first serve points. Khachanov won 66% of his first serve points. Let's start with the serve return dynamic right off the bat. And this feels like an area where the 6'6" guy who's slower in Khachanov, heavier, slower, taller, he needs to come in here with the bigger serve and get those free points, especially against Tsitsipas being a guy who traditionally can struggle against big serves off of clay. And this can be an area where you can get a lot of unreturned serves against Tsitsipas. Well, I think there's 2 things at play here. First, you got to give a lot of credit for Tsitsipas. I really thought he handled the pace of Khachanov's serve well. Good block returns on the backhand. Nice and compact on the forehand return, where he hit a lot of awesome forehand returns. And Tsitsipas for the match, 70% returns in play. Total returns, first serve and second serve combined. Khachanov, on his return, 57% in play. Tsitsipas really attacked Khachanov's forehand return, about 60% to the forehand on both the deuce and the ad side. That was effective. Perhaps better spot serving by Tsitsipas. If you look at the average first serve speed, Tsitsipas at 191 Ks, Khachanov at 188 Ks. So they're pretty much giving, the pace is pretty much the same. To my eyes, the spot serving a little bit better for Tsitsipas, but the biggest difference is return skill. And Tsitsipas, a lot more returns in play in this match. That's a problem for Khachanov, given the disadvantages he has in some other areas here. He must have an advantage in this. In the first set, I was ringing the alarm bells for Khachanov, because Tsitsipas made under 50% first serves and still won the returns in play dynamic. And I'm like, ooh, that's not going to be good moving forward for Karen. Khachanov's returning in the first set, especially unimpressive, because he missed way too many second serve returns. So onward, all right, returns in play battle, advantage Tsitsipas. The second thing you see after a first serve oftentimes is an opportunity to attack on the next ball. And who is taking advantage of those opportunities more? And who is more effective in that spot? That's not close. That's a huge edge to Tsitsipas. It starts with the forehand. You're going to get majority first ball forehands. We know that Tsitsipas has the better forehand than Khachanov. We know that Tsitsipas is going to hit a lot of those first ball forehands as approach shots. Khachanov much less so. So, we can look at the forehand stats and forehand winners, 24 for Tsitsipas, 10 for Khachanov. We can look at the net, the points won at net. 71% won for Tsitsipas, 62% won for Khachanov. We can look at those things. we know who has the better forehand. Tsitsipas does. We know who volleys better. Tsitsipas does. But a big, a very underrated part of this, I don't know if it's underrated or not, but a big part of this is not just that, who's going to hit that third shot better. It's who's going to defend the fourth shot better. And Tsitsipas is just the better mover, which is it's felt like a really, really big deal. You have a better forehand, Tsitsipas's forehand against Khachanov's movement on one end of the court, and then you have Khachanov's forehand against Tsitsipas's movement on the other side. Or I should say in the other dynamic with Khachanov serving. So I'm not, there's a skill gap there. There's an ability gap there. And that is, I think, how you get to that lopsided number of 84% first serve points won for Tsitsipas, 66% first serve points won for Khachanov. Why has Khachanov lost 23 straight against top 10 players? To me, a huge reason is that he just doesn't serve well enough for his speed. If you're not going to be as quick as Zverev and Medvedev and Hurkacz, and you don't serve as well as them, that to me is an issue, especially when there's other gaps in your game. You don't have a complete offensive repertoire because you're a little bit uncomfortable in the front court. That was a big factor here as well. Khachanov's front court discomfort. And this is not just volleys, because I thought, all things considered, Khachanov's volleys, pretty good here. He made a couple of volleys that actually really surprised me, where I was like, whoa, that was good. So I thought that was pretty good. But the front court game is a lot more than that. It's more significant than that. First of all, net rush hesitancy. I saw some of that from Khachanov. Not coming in when he should. That is front court discomfort. Mid-court ground strokes. Errors when he has to hit from, around the service line area off the ground. I saw a couple of those. Some big ones, even on the backhand, where Tsitsipas hit slice passing shots and Khachanov missed backhands from the service line. Forehands, there were some big forehand approach shot misses in this for Khachanov. He does not like hitting his ground strokes from inside the court because he's just not precise. And that extreme grip, I think, gets in the way of hitting good forehand approach shots. Then you have the drop shot retrieval as well. That did not look good for Khachanov on a couple of occasions on the backhand side. He tried to scoop it with his two-hander instead of slicing it. And from a low contact point, that's so difficult to do. And I saw Tsitsipas hit his some drop shots to Khachanov's backhand side, which resulted in Khachanov misses. Now, you also have to credit Tsitsipas. I thought he did great with the short slice. I thought he did great with some block returns short in the court. I thought he did very well with the forehand block defense, or the squash defense, which is a great play against a player who is not going to really hurt you coming forward. I didn't think there were enough drop shots. I think Tsitsipas should have hit a lot more drop shots. But other than that, I thought Stefanos did a great job of taking advantage of Karen's front court discomfort. So all in all, I did not feel like there were a lot of advantages for Khachanov. You look at the third set, a set where certainly Khachanov played some really good play under pressure in the 5-4 return game, in the late in the tie break. Absolutely won some really good marathon rallies, which he's very, very tough in the lengthy exchanges. Great shot tolerance. And I just loved the first match point save, where he actually was just played a tremendous baseline rally. But, total points in that set was 44-44. I didn't feel like Khachanov actually built a sustainable advantage in that set. I just thought he was very clutch, more clutch than Tsitsipas. Stefanos' weapons, particularly his serve and his forehand, just denigrated a little bit with the nerves, and I thought his imagination also denigrated a bit. Plus, we saw that bad habit that Tsitsipas needs to avoid of, for some reason under pressure, he loses the variety on his backhand and he just starts hitting it very flat and straight. And the conditions in this match I thought were very helpful for Tsitsipas, especially on that backhand, because this was the bounciest I've seen the court. I think it was pretty hot in Melbourne today, and with Tsitsipas hitting the heavy topspin backhand and also the kick serve, especially in the first set, he was getting good jump off this court, which hasn't always been the case with these Dunlop balls. Again, the only place where I could really see an advantage for Khachanov was kind of in the unimaginative baseline trading, where Khachanov can be the more consistent player. His power can certainly pose a problem, especially going heavy to Tsitsipas's backhand side. But there is enough variation in the play to really favor Tsitsipas, whether it be Stefanos's variety, intentionally mixing things up and drawing Khachanov into the front court from with his defense and his return, or whether it just be Tsitsipas attacking with his first ball after the first serve, which he's been so good at this tournament in doing. Another mentally strong performance from Tsitsipas. The focus has been really good. Yes, he got nervous. Yes, you can criticize that aspect, but ultimately, I thought this was a great performance where Tsitsipas very much showed a level above Karen Khachanov as a player, with a wide variety of superior technical abilities and superior athletic abilities. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.